Long ago in the land of Israel, God's people were ruled over by a nation called the Philistines. The Israelites cried out to the Lord for help, and he heard their prayers. Now there was a woman in Israel who couldn't have children, and one day an angel of the Lord appeared to her and said, "You will give birth to a son. He is to be dedicated to God from birth. No razor shall touch his head, for he will begin to rescue Israel from the Philistines." Then the woman gave birth to a boy, and called him Samson. And the Spirit of the Lord blessed him. When he grew up, Samson had incredible strength. Once when he was just in regular clothes, he went to get some honey from a wild beehive. But the hive was inside the carcass of a dead lion, and he tore the lion apart with his bare hands and licked the honey off its body. See, the Lord God was with Samson. He gave him supernatural strength to deliver Israel. But Samson had a weakness. You see, he liked beautiful women. Now usually, God told his people not to marry the people of other nations, because these folks worshipped idols and false gods, and they wanted the Israelites to do the same. But Samson would often fall in love with beautiful women, even those who weren't from his people. And one day he fell in love with a woman named Delilah, who lived in the valley of Sorek. She was beautiful and clever, but she was also dangerous. The Philistine rulers came to Delilah and said, "Listen, that Samson fella, he's a real problem for us. We want you to find out the secret of his great strength and how we can overpower him, and we'll pay you lots of money. How does that sound?" So Delilah agreed to their plan. Then that night, when Samson was asleep, Delilah got up and she asked him, "Tell me the secret of your great strength. Samson, how can someone tie you up and make you helpless?" But Samson just laughed at her. "Hey lady, if they tied me up with 7 fresh bowstrings, I'd be weaker than a baby lion. I mean, I'd be as weak as any ordinary man." So Delilah thought, okay, so maybe he's just stronger than he looks. She didn't want to waste any time, so she went ahead and did it. She tied him up while he was sleeping. Then she woke up a couple Philistines and yelled, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." He awoke and struggled to break free, but he couldn't because she had tied him with new bowstrings. "Wait a minute," Samson said. "These bowstrings aren't dried out. So that means I'm still super strong." He snapped the bowstrings like threads burned in a fire, so then his strength remained. Then Delilah asked him again, "How can I make you powerless? How can I make you helpless?" And Samson continued to lie to her 3 more times. Each time he pretended to be weak and told her what would make him helpless. But every time she tried it, his strength only remained, and Delilah thought, "What am I doing here? This guy is way stronger than I am. He's not going to listen to me anyways. I better just tell the Philistines that I don't know his secret. I mean, why bother going through all this trouble? He's too strong for me." So she went to the Philistines and said, "Hey, I think I figured it out. All you got to do is tie me up real tight and I'll figure out his secret." So they tied her up, but they also nailed a door to the wall next to her so that she could yell at him without getting hurt. Then she started bothering Samson day after day. She nagged him and asked him questions. She wouldn't let him sleep, and she kept asking him about his strength until he was worn out and ready to give up. Then finally, Samson told her everything. "Look, my hair has never been cut. I was dedicated to God from birth. If my head is shaved, my strength will leave me and I'll be helpless." Then Delilah raced to the Philistine rulers and said, "Come back once more. He has told me everything." So that night Samson fell asleep on her lap, and she called for a man to shave off his hair. Then she cried, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." He awoke and said, "I'll shake myself free just like before." But he didn't know the Lord had left him. The Philistines seized him. They poked out his eyes and bound him in bronze chains. They threw him into prison in Gaza, where he was forced to grind grain like an animal. But as the days passed, Samson's hair began to grow back. Then one day the Philistine rulers decided to throw a big party in the temple of their god Dagon. They invited all their friends and family. It was the biggest party of the year. As they were celebrating, they shouted, "Bring out Samson to entertain us." So blind and weakened as he was, Samson was led by a young boy to the temple floor. Samson reached out and touched the pillars on each side of the temple and asked the boy to lead him around them. He walked 3 times around the pillar, and all the people cheered. Then Samson leaned against one of the pillars and asked the boy to help him pray to the God of Israel, saying, "Put my hands on the pillars so I can lean on them. Let me pray." Then Samson prayed a final prayer. "O Lord God, remember me. Remember me and strengthen me just once more. Help me die with the Philistines." Then with all his might, Samson pushed against the 2 main pillars of the temple. The whole place began to shake. The pillars cracked and groaned as the crowd screamed in fear. They didn't understand what was happening. They thought Samson was having a seizure or something. But then, as the people watched in horror, the entire temple collapsed and crushed everyone underneath. The dust settled, and there lay the dead bodies of the Philistine rulers and all their friends and family. They were all crushed to death. In his death, Samson destroyed more enemies of Israel than he had during his life. Well, now let's take a few minutes to discuss the message of this story. Samson was a man of great strength. He was blessed by God. He had supernatural powers. He was able to defeat armies of men with only his bare hands. But Samson was also very human. He made mistakes. He messed up big time sometimes. He wasn't perfect, but in the end, he turned back to God, and God used him for a greater purpose. And that's the kind of hope we need to cling to today. See, God's strength is far greater than ours, and He uses imperfect people like you and me to carry out His plans. Even when we mess up, God can redeem our story and use us for His glory. What an awesome God we serve. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss one of our new videos. Also, be sure to share this video with your friends and family. It may brighten their day and encourage them in their walk with Jesus. Until next time, remember to stay strong in the Lord.